Hello, this is Rufus Shinra from the Shinra Corporation, and today we'll be tackling the new update that was just released by Green Knight, a community manager, regarding the new champions that will be introduced during the month of May. Before that, I would just like to have a small parenthesis regarding the so-called controversy or reaction gate that's going on today. For those of you who don't know, it's just a little bit of uproar that is starting to grow regarding the compensation that was given to some players that were not able to participate to the one of the previous Clan v Clan events due to a bug that locked their account out. So I will give my detailed point of view on that in a later video maybe, but I would just like to say right now that I have nothing against the players who got those artifacts. If anything, it's a good thing that some high-profile content creator got reaction banners and reaction accessories. It's a way for them to be able to test them out and show us if they're actually worth pursuing. My concern, or the thing that I don't really like, is the way that it was thought of by the developers and other people at Plarium. The way that they decided that this compensation should be given, in my opinion, it's not fair, and it should be given more thought. So I'll go into further detail in a future video. If anything, if anybody from Plarium is listening to this, me as along as a lot of people who have talked about or talked to, we don't want you to take back those rewards from people who've given them to. Just think of a fairer way to compensate other peoples who participated, especially in the beta. So with that said, let's focus on the champions and let's see what we got, because boy oh boy, we have a fresh batch of champions and a lot of them do look quite interesting. What impact will that have on the game coming forward? What does that tell us? So we'll be seeing all those things in a little while. And alright, so starting with the first champion here, funnily enough, it's not the upcoming fusion, this is an epic. So we're bringing 10 awesome new champions to help you tackle Teleria's biggest challenges. Check out their details. Let's see. So first champion is Geomancer. He's a force attack-based dwarf. Looks pretty cool, as usual. So his A1 has a 30% chance, booking up to 40 of placing a 50% decreased accuracy debuff for 2 turns. We will see that throughout the whole list. So the decreased accuracy is something that they're trying to bring to the forefront in order to balance the fact that there are champions who more or less nullify the resistance meta with increased accuracy. So yeah, I do see what they're trying to do here, and I think it's a good thing, because it can also help to tackle content like Doom Tower, where bosses have insane accuracy without building up that much resistance. So moving on. A1, 30% chance of placing a decreased accuracy for 2 turns. A2, Creeping Petrify, removes all buffs from a target enemy, then attacks them. Then steals the all buffs instead if the target is under an HP burn placed by this champion. Not any HP burn will work. Then reduces the cooldown of the next attack, which is Quicksand Grasp, by 2 turns if the target is killed by this skill while under an HP burn placed by this champion. Right, looks cool. It could be on a 3-turn cooldown after books. It has books for damage. Alright, let's see. Meaning that this attack hits hard and has the potential to kill a single target enemy. A3, Quicksand Grasp, so it fully depletes the target's turn meter and fills this champion's turn meter by the amount of the target loses. It has 75% chance of placing an HP burn and 25% chance and 25% weaken on the target for 3 turns. It books up to 100% and the cooldown is reduced to 3. This looks nice, looks cool, so it could be a good option against enemies who place lots of buffs. It can be a good turn meter control. Yeah, so I don't see it exactly, but the thing is, the A1 is an AoE. So this could make him viable in Arena if it was a higher percentage, but again, he would be broken. Yeah, AoE A1 is always good. Paired with this kit, this makes this guy pretty powerful. I think we'll see him used in a lot of areas. He also has a passive, so it decreases the damage all allies receive by 15%, so something similar to Tyrant's passive, and deflects that damage onto each enemy under an HP burn buff placed by this champion. Whenever this champion is attacked, deflects 30% of the damage instead. It increases ally HP in all battles by 25%. So I wonder if a team of multiple Geomancers would be good against the Fire Knight, because his reflect, or even one Geomancer. We'll see how that. We need to see how that reflect works. The kit is really interesting. It's only the fact that it triggers off of his own HP burns, as opposed to any kind of HP burn that's a little bit limiting. But hey, he needed something to rein him back. All in all, this guy looks really interesting. I can't wait to pull him and test him out. Rule the Huntmaster. So we've already gone through this guy's kit. He looks like a big nuker. He depends heavily on hex being placed, and he has a passive that decreases the speed of his enemies. So if you want to check more or to see my detailed breakdown, you can check the link here, and you will be taken to the video where I break down his kit the first time I've seen him. So my opinion hasn't changed much. I'm not sure if Thea will be a great match with him, but at least as long as he can place his hex, he probably will be doing some damage. And as anticipated, Unleash the Hunt has only damage buffs, basically, with one book for reducing cooldown. So this is huge, actually. 10, 10, 20, so 30% damage added to his basic multipliers, so it should be good. Increases ally crit rate in all battles by 20%. I'm not sure this was the aura we were told about. Yeah, so we were not told about this aura, and I don't think anything else changed on his skill. But yeah, this makes him actually even more valuable, especially since an ally crit rate in all battles by 20%. Pretty close to Battle Khazar's aura. So yeah, if anything, this adds a little bit to his value. Will I be recommending you to fuse him? Again, only if it does not break the bank, only if you don't have to go out of your way to do it. It's going to be tough on people, especially after Clan v Clan and the previous fusion. So yeah, it's gonna be a call on your side. I do think he looks like a good nuker on paper, and I do think that Hex will be introduced in the future the same way that they have been doing with increase and decrease accuracy. So yes, again, if you can fuse him, go for it. If you see that it's going to be breaking the bank, don't. Before moving on, a note on this fusion. So given how this patch introduces quite a big number of epics, I did ask the question in the moderators chat whether or not this will be a regular fusion, just to confirm, a regular fragment fusion, or it will be a Brogni style fusion. I haven't had a response yet, but I will make sure to update you as soon as I know. As far as we know, it will be just a regular fusion, but hey, I just wanted to clear any doubt. Still, many people still have PTSD from the Brogni fusion, so it would be a shame if we had repeated it. Now, moving on, Elior, or Helior. Looks like a sun-based or sun-themed character. Praise the sun. Is a legendary Bannerlord, Force Affinity defense type. Always good to have defense type champions. And his kit also is pretty good, and he has some unique things that I haven't seen in other characters so far. Sunshine Halberd. Attacks one enemy, increases its champion's defense by 5% if this attack is critical. So it can stack up to 20% with repeated attacks, and if you reach that cap of 20%, it will heal this champion by 75% of their defense after attacking, if their defense has already been increased by 20%. So imagine having, let's say, a basic 2000 defense. You attack 4 times, the defense increases by 20%, which would be 2400. Then on any subsequent hit, he will heal himself automatically, so it's kind of a built-in lifesteal by 75% of 2400. You do the math, it should be something around 2100 and 2000 something. So it's pretty good for this, but again, since it's based on defense, we cannot build defense as much as we build HP. Maximum or the highest defenses that we've seen on characters like Valkyrie or Ursaga, or guys that have basically very high base defenses around 7k, 8k in the most extreme cases. So will this guy be similar to them? I don't know. But hey, it's always nice to have it on an A1. It's a built-in lifesteal, it's a built-in heal mechanic that can help him. It heals only Elior, which is something that I think is a little bit of a shame. It would have been better if he was kind of like a Lugan or Vrask, where he would heal all the other allies, because this is not much. This will not be game-breaking if he was also healing his teammates with this A1. Let's see. So far as this attack is concerned, Vrask is much better. Solar Blessing attacks all enemies, places a shield buff on all allies for 2 turns equal to 20% of the damage inflicted. So he places a shield on all allies. This is good. It can book down to 3 turns cooldown, which is always nice. And alright, if he does a lot of damage, this could be nice. Harsh Light transfers all debuffs from all allies to a target enemy. So he takes debuffs from all allies, this is important. Then attacks that enemy with the default skill and converts this champion's resistance into additional accuracy when using this skill. So this is unique. This is the first time that we see a skill like this. What impact will it have on the build? What does it mean? It means that you don't need to build much accuracy on him. You could build him like a big defense resistance tank, and he will absorb any debuff on the team. So this is transfers all debuffs from all allies, meaning that it's basically a cleanse with an added attack. And in addition, if you were not just happy with the transfer, if you wanted them to actually land on the enemy, you could just invest in his resistance, not much into defense, and the resistance will be converted into accuracy. This is cool, this is new, I love it. And I could see plenty of uses for this in PvE and PvP. Plus, it's on a 3-turn cooldown of the books. Again, not many books so far, except, well, this guy reads a lot. Rule, these are decent books. How many? We have 11 books. Okay, Intercessor. Whenever an ally has 2 or more debuffs, whenever an ally that has 2 or more debuffs is attacked, this champion will absorb 30% of the damage inflicted on that ally. Cool. So this guy is like, again, he will tank for his allies. Yeah. Again, really good with his resistance aura as well. This looks like a really good arena champion for defense. Absolutely good. He will do a lot of things. We will start seeing him in defenses as soon as he pops up in the shard pool. Mark my words. Moving on. Gorlos Helmao, or Carlos the Demon, a face only an evil mother-in-law could love. Wow. He gives off Cenobite vibes. Really cool design. He's a demon spawn spirit attack type. Let's see what his kit is about. Hungry shafts. Yep, those shafts do look hungry. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit fills this champion's turn meter by 10% if the target is under a decreased defense, HP burn, or decreased accuracy debuff. So yeah, okay. So it's 20% turn meter fill with very common debuffs, and I assume that he has some of them on his kit, if not all. Raging Hunter, or Raging Hunger. Attacks all enemies, has 75% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. Good job, Plarium. AoE defense down on a epic champion in Demon Spawn. I don't think we have one that does it this well, or if we do, I don't remember. But this is really good, especially it's on 3-turn cooldown. It has a 100% chance to land once booked. Perfect. This attack is perfect. Gnashing Fangs. Attacks one enemy, has 75% chance of placing HP burn debuff and a 50% decreased accuracy debuff for 3 turns. Fills this champion's turn meter by 20% if this attack is critical. Again, this books up to 100% chance, and cooldown is 4 turns. So it's a single target. Still good against bosses. So yeah, increase the attack and Doom Towers by 30%. So this is designed to be a Doom Tower champion. He can also work in faction walls and in dungeons, especially since his spirit, he has a 2-hit A1, could work against the Fire Knight, work in many areas, basically anywhere you need somebody to control your waves, to place that decreased defense for another nuker to obliterate them. Yeah, all in all, let's say a pretty solid champion. I wouldn't place him as high tier or anything as good as a Stag Knight, for instance, but he's a good replacement if you don't have a champion like Stag Knight or maybe Terral. So yeah, I like this guy. Moving on, Hotatsu. Assume he's a Shadow King, right? Defense type, magic, affinity, epic. Red River. Attacks one enemy, has 40% chance of placing a leech debuff for 2 turns. The chance goes up to 50-60% chance. So yeah, could be good for clan boss. Could be good whenever you need to sustain on your team. Nice, always good to have, especially since he's defense based. Let's see if the rest of the kit works well in clan boss. Attacks all enemies, has 50% chance of placing a 50% decreased attack debuffs for 2 turns. So AoE decreased attack on a 3-turn cooldown with a... it's not 100% chance, this is like an 80% chance to land. So yeah, well, let's see. Oni Icon places 60% increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns. And 50% continuous heal buff on all allies for 1 turn. On a 3-turn cooldown. Yeah, as I assumed, this is more or less clan boss oriented, but yeah, this is not really something that makes him stand out. Grush is still better, but let's see if anything improves him. Removes 1 random debuff from this champion at the start of each turn. Will remove stun, sleep, freeze, fear, true fear, and provoke debuffs before other debuffs. And increases ally defense in all battles by 25%. So what do we think about this guy? His passive is similar to Skull Crushers, and please, Plarium, if you designed his passive to be similar to Skull Crushers, make it so that it doesn't have the same flaws. If, for example, this guy is stunned and his passive clears the stun, make it so that he does not lose a turn on the cooldowns of his other abilities. This is currently the situation of Skull Crusher. He's been that way since his was released, and I believe that the way that the passive should work is that it clears up the debuff on the champion and they don't lose a turn in the rotation of their abilities. This guy is, again, my initial assumption is correct. I think he was designed with clan boss in mind, but he's still lackluster. The attack down is not 100%, plus it's on a cooldown. If it was an A1, I would have understood a percentage, but since it's on a cooldown, make it 100%. There is no need for it to be less than that, even if it's AoE, basically. There are plenty of champions with 100% attack down AoE. And increased defense and continuous heal is cool, I would say. Not game breaking or anything, but it's cool, especially since it's on a 3-turn cooldown. And finally, my remark about the passive, yeah, please make it so that he does not lose a turn. Chani. Shadowkin, attack, magic. Insidious arrow. Attacks one enemy, has 40% chance of placing a 25% poison sensitivity for 2 turns. Alright, finally we're starting to see these guys coming. After Lydia and Frozen Banshee, and I think Grave Chill Killer. Does she even have a poison sensitivity? I'm not sure. This is one of the few champions in the game who have it. So far not really useful, but let's see. Maybe it'll have some usefulness against level 25 dungeons. Who knows? Soulfire. Places 50% increased accuracy, again with the increased accuracy theme that we've been talking about. 50% increased attack on this champion for 2 turns, then attacks one enemy. Places an HP burn debuff for 2 turns if this attack is critical, and it's on a 3-turn cooldown after books with some additional damage. Shower of Misery, attacks all enemies, has 50% chance of increasing the duration of all debuffs by 1 turn. Alright, on a 3-turn cooldown. So this is basically our first, let's see what's the percentage chance. So basically it's 50% chance. It books up to 80% chance. So 80% chance to increase the duration of all debuffs. We're talking almost Vizier levels of chances, or Narma the Return should be actually a better example. Yeah, very decent, let's say, replacement for one of these legendaries, especially considering she's an epic. Immune to decreased accuracy. Let's continue. Immune to decreased accuracy debuff increases this champion's crit rate by 0.05% for each point of accuracy they have, and increases ally accuracy in all battles by 40%. Okay, so it's 0.05% for each point of accuracy will be converted into crit rate. So if we're talking 500 accuracy, I did the short calculation earlier. So 500 accuracy would correspond to 25% crit rate added, and I'm not sure anyone would like to build her with 500 accuracy, but hey, she still needs accuracy. We'll build her with accuracy, so at least that 17% crit rate or whatever you will get from it will help you do damage if you want to. Being an attack champion, she will definitely be squishy, and it's gonna be hard to build her for defense in clan boss teams. That said, Vizier is also attack based and he's used in plenty of clan boss teams, but again, Vizier has the extension on his A1, whereas she has it on her A3 on a 3-turn cooldown. She will not do it that much, but she will still be able to help. Yeah, this is a step in the right direction. Again, here, if it's on a cooldown, make it 100% chance, and let's not talk about it again. 80% is good. Don't take me wrong, it's good, but I guess we'll have to test her out. She will see action in clan boss basically, and maybe in some setups where you need to have multiple debuffs for poison burst or similar things. All right, moving on. Genbo the Dishonored, an epic void attack from the Shadow Kin faction. Twin Soul Swords attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit steals any increased attack buffs, and each hit also has 30% chance of stealing 1 random buff. The chance books up to 50, and the increased attack buff steal cannot be resisted, so no matter what, he will always steal your attack. Wow, big deal. Could be good against nukers in arena if you want to steal their increased attack, but again, with the current meta, more often than not you will find that the nukers are under veil. I don't know, still could be useful, but each hit steals an increased attack, each hit has to steal 1 random buff, so the 50% chance of stealing an additional random buff, why not? Let's see. Heartless Blitz attacks all enemies, has an 80% chance of decreasing the duration of all buffs by 1 turn. This effect cannot be resisted on critical hits. Okay, book into 100%. So if he crits, he will AoE and he will reduce the duration of all buffs by 1 turn. This is good. It's not a buff steal, it's not an actual strip. It's more like a nuke and buff strip. So I do like how it's designed, especially since it's on a 3-turn cooldown with a little bit of damage on it. If he has good multipliers, I think this is usable. So Trance places a 30% increased crit rate, 30% increased crit damage on this champion for 3 turns and grants an extra turn. There you go. So the AI should and has to work correctly, please, for this guy. If he opens up with his Soul Trance, he can take an extra turn, go into Heartless Blitz. This is all this guy will be able to do. It's on a 4-turn cooldown, so this is also good. It will keep him going and keep that snowball rolling. He'll pretty much be always under increased crit rate and crit damage, and he will be able to nuke and nuke again. So he's immune to decreased attack debuffs, cool. Ignores unkillable buffs when attacking under an increased attack, whoa. Hey, this is good. This is really, really good. This means that Swift Parry you can say bye-bye to those pesky Swift Parry procs, provided he's able to kill the team, provided he has big enough multipliers and big enough built-in damage. This guy could be a potential beast. Or you could bring him in with a bigger nuker and have him just finish off the survivors without being afraid of any Swift Parry procs. Really cool. I like the guy, I like the kit, except for the, well, even the A1 actually. Even the A1, because he steals the increased attacks which he needs to to proc his passive. So I do really like him. Again, with the Dishonored, this was a very good, very well designed champion. Can't wait to see how his AI works and how his multipliers are. Burangiri! As Japanese as it gets. So he's a Force champion, and they tell us that these are not 100% Japanese. Well, this guy is. Defense, Shadowkin, Battering Skull on his A1. Attacks one enemy, has 20% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn. Books up to 40%. Is it? Yeah, it's 40% chance of placing a provoke for 1 turn. Alright. Bakemono Charge. Bakemono I think means monster. So this is monster charge. Attacks all enemies, has 40% chance of placing a stun for 1 turn. Booking up to 60% chance, so he has a 60% chance of placing a stun, and on the 3-turn cooldown after books. Alright. Frightful Warcry places a 25% strengthen on all allies for 2 turns. Good. Also places a shield buff for 2 turns on all allies with less than 50% HP. Less good. The shield buff is equal to 50% of the target's max HP. So the allies need to be under 50% to benefit from the shield, but they will always get the strengthen. It's on a 4-turn cooldown. Yeah, why not? He could just place the shield straight away. It wouldn't hurt, but yeah, still good to have either or both. Soulmonger heals this champion by 50% of their max HP whenever an ally dies or an enemy dies. So basically, whenever anybody dies, he gets healed by 50% of their max HP. Think of his max HP, that's what they meant. And increases ally resist in all battles by 40%. Another resist aura, we do have quite a lot. This is not the best of them. I think even Seer has a better aura. Okay, so the stun on the A2 makes him good for crowd control. He can help somewhat, although it's not 100%, but still a pretty fairly high chance, at 60% chance to help you in. I think this guy was designed more with faction wars in mind, and a little bit Doom Tower than anything else. If this was 4-turn cooldown, it would have been clan boss viable. It's not, but well, you know, with today's new technology and new tech, we could build drifting cops with 4-3 tuning, so I'm sure some people will try to use him in clan boss as well. As for, we have just 2 rares to go through, and the first one is Marauder. Attacks one enemy and has 15% chance of placing a stun. Okay. Attacks all enemies, has 50% chance of placing a 25% increase attack debuff for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. Books up to 75. Has a 50% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn. Places a shield. Hey, this is 75% chance of placing a provoke. And places a shield buff on this champion for 2 turns equals to 20% of their max HP. Also places a 15% reflect damage buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. Why except this champion? Make it with this champion as well, so that he's usable, so that we at least get some damage from the provoke that he places. And increases HP in all 15%. Not really interesting. It could be good as a crowd control champion for the faction wars or anything else, but no. There are better. Narnhorn, for instance, is better. Umbra Enchantress in the epics does that much better. Vagabond, Spirit Support Shadow King. Dreamer's Curse, attacks one enemy, has 20% chance of placing a sleep debuff for 1 turn. Books up to 40. Attacks one enemy, has 50% chance of placing a block buffs for 1 turn, and books up to 75. Also fills the champion's turn meter by 15% and fills the turn meter of the ally with the highest turn meter by 15%. Interesting. Why not fills all allies' turn meters? Oh yeah, because he's a chicken, because he's a rare. Join the troop. Fills the turn meter of all allies by 15% and places 25% increase attack buff on all allies for 2 turns on 3-turn cooldown. Increases ally accuracy meter by 30%. So it could be a good early game champion or outright faction wars champion, because he could help buff the whole team if you definitely need, or if you necessarily need, a champion of the Shadow King to fill that role. Turn meter boost attack or increase attack. So basically support. His basic support, and not bad, not good. Alright, so the guy that stands out here is Genbo the Dishonored, along with Elior. These two are pretty impressive. Even Geomancer is good. Alright, so these were the champions. The ones that stand out to me are Geomancer, Elios, and our boy here, Genbo the Dishonored. So let me know in the comment section below what you think about them. Do you agree with my assessment of these champions? Are you looking forward to get any of them? And with that said, I will see you in a next video. Rufus Shinra, signing out.